Hello friends, welcome to Best Tutor. Now in this video I am going to discuss about heart and its structure. In the earlier videos we have learnt about the components of the blood, then we have discussed about the different kinds of blood vessels. Now it's time to learn about the heart and its structure. Now coming to the heart, the location of heart. Now, usually we feel that heart is almost on the left side of our body, but it's not true. Look, heart is exactly located at the center between the two lungs, just above the diaphragm. So, the location of the heart is at the center between the lungs above the diaphragm. Right, so this is the location of the heart. Then coming to its covering or the protection it has, this heart, it's almost something like it's a muscular structure, we all know it. It's a muscular organ which is slightly triangular, roughly triangular in shape, or sometimes we also say it is a slightly conical in shape. Now for example, if you consider so that's how it looks. It's a rough way I am showing you. So heart is slightly towards our left side, the conical, the last lower part of your heart. If you examine, it's slightly toward the left side. That makes us to feel that heart is left side. But actually the heart is at the center between the lungs above the diaphragm. Now if you observe the covering, what is that protecting the heart? The heart is protected by a double wall membrane. We call it as pericardium. So pericardium is a double walled membrane which protects the heart, the structure of the heart, and it is filled with a fluid. It's known as pericardial fluid. So as you all know, wherever we have these fluids in any organ, they help them from protection, any kind of mechanical injury, and also we know heart undergoes a kind of working, a principle is that we will be learning about it in the next, that functioning of the heart also to prevent any kind of friction. With the easy way the heart has to undergo its normal function, that is also allowed by the pericardial fluid, means to prevent friction while the working of the heart, and also to protect it from mechanical injuries. Any damage, anything is considered as mechanical injuries. So that is the major function of the pericardial fluid, which is present in the pericardium, which is the outer covering of our heart. So this is about the location and covering of the heart. Now let us see how this heart looks like. So as I said, it is something conical or triangular in shape. Right. So heart is basically classified into 4 chambers. It is a 4-chambered heart, we say, means something it looks like 4 compartments or 4 rooms like. So the heart is divided into 4 chambers. Now the upper 2 chambers are known as auricles or atria. So the upper chambers of the heart are known as atria or auricles. Now the lower chambers are known as ventricles. Right. Now if you examine, this side is our left side and this side is the right side. So the right side auricle and ventricle are usually represented as right auricle and right ventricle. Right. Now left side auricle and ventricle should be called as left auricle and left ventricle. So the four chambers of the heart, now we know how they are named. The upper two auricles, right auricle, left auricle. The lower two chambers are known as right ventricle and left ventricle. Now, so as I told you, we have the pericardium, right? Fine. Now, and if you observe, the right side and the left side are separated by structure. This partition is known as septum. Right, the one is a muscular structure we can see which separates the left with the right of your heart is known as septum. So it is known as, if it is upper chamber septum, we call it as interauricular septum. If it is ventricle part, we call it as interventricular septum. Inter means in between. So if the septum is placed in between the upper two auricles, we call it as interauricular septum, and the lower, which is separating both the chambers, it is known as interventricular septum. Right. So now we have understood the four chambers of the heart and what they are called as. Fine. Now let us observe what are the blood vessels which are entering into the heart and the blood vessels which are leaving the heart. Now if you see the upper chambers, the auricle, the right auricle will receive blood from different parts of our body, and it is known as superior vena cava. So the blood vessel which pours blood into the right auricle of our heart is known as superior vena cava. And if you observe, I have shown a kind of another blood vessel which is going from the lower part of your body. Again this leaves the blood or pours the blood into the right auricle itself. This blood vessel is known as inferior vena cava. If you observe, there are two blood vessels which are carrying blood from different parts of our body into the heart. The first one is called superior vena cava, which is collecting the blood from head part, your arms, your neck region into the heart. That is known as superior vena cava, or you also can name it as anterior vena cava. Right. Then from the lower part of your body, from the abdominal regions, from the legs or whatever the pelvic regions and all, that blood is transported and carried to the heart through the blood vessel known as inferior. The name inferior means from the lower parts, superior from the upper parts. So this also carries the blood and pours the blood into the right auricle. It is behind the heart, okay, right? So it enters into the right auricle. So these are the two blood vessels which are carrying which kind of blood? Since they are carrying from different parts of the body, they carry deoxygenated blood. Right. The both vena cavas, superior and inferior vena cava, they carry the blood which is deoxygenated or carbon dioxide rich blood to the heart. Right. Then what else we can see? The blood vessels which are entering into the heart. Now in the left auricle we have 4 blood vessels which carry blood into the left auricle. So usually I show you this way also. So these are nothing but pulmonary veins. pulmonary veins. Now the pulmonary veins are nothing but the blood vessels, the veins which are carrying blood from the lungs to the heart, and those blood vessels are nothing but 4 in number. We call them as pulmonary veins, which are entering into the left auricle of your heart. So they are carrying oxygenated blood, unlike the vena cava which are carrying deoxygenated blood. So now we understood the blood vessels which are carrying blood to the heart. One is the vena cava and the other are the pulmonary veins. Then next we will see the blood vessels which are leaving the heart. These two are the types of blood vessels which are entering the heart. The blood vessels which are leaving the heart right. If you examine, I have shown two different blood vessels, which one is arising from the right ventricle and one is arising from the left ventricle. Now the blood vessel which is coming from the right ventricle, this blood vessel is known as pulmonary artery, which carries the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. So pulmonary artery carries the blood away from the heart towards the lungs. This is the one blood vessel which is leaving the heart. The another blood vessel which arises from the left ventricle is the one known as aorta. Now aorta is the largest blood vessel in our body, which carries oxygenated blood from the left ventricle of our heart, carrying away from the heart to different parts of our body. So now we have learnt the structure of the heart, which has got 4 chambers. The upper 2 chambers are known as auricles. If singular, we call it as atrium, and the lower 2 chambers are known as ventricles. And if you observe, the auricles and ventricles are separated with the help of a structure known as septum. If it is separating the 2 auricles, we call it as interauricular septum. If it is separating 2 ventricles, we call it as interventricular septum. And if you examine, we also discussed that the blood vessels which are entering the heart and which are leaving the heart. The 2 blood vessels entering the heart, one is superior vena cava, which is pouring blood from the upper parts of your body into the right auricle, and inferior vena cava, which is collecting the blood from lower parts of our body and again pouring into the right auricle. Then we also have observed 4 pulmonary veins which are coming from the lungs towards the heart, pouring blood into the left auricle. So these red marked blood vessels are the one which are entering the heart. And we also discussed now the blood vessels which are leaving the heart. The blood vessel which is leaving the heart, one is from the right ventricle, that is pulmonary artery. So I differentiate with the blue mark. So pulmonary artery is the one which is moving away from the heart, and also the blood vessel which is arises from the left ventricle, that is the aorta, which is also leaving the heart, carrying blood to different parts of the body. Earlier we have learnt about the structure of heart, its chambers, and we also discussed about the blood vessels which are entering the heart and leaving the heart. Now I am going to discuss about some other structures which are also present in the heart, allowing for the free flow of blood in the heart. Now as you all know, the right auricle and right ventricle are separated. They have certain walls in between them. These walls are known as auriculoventricular walls. So if it is on the left side, we call this as left arterioventricular ventricular wall. And if it is on the right side, it is known as right atrioventricular wall, means the wall which is separating the atrium with the ventricle. Now, the right side atrioventricular valve is also known as tricuspid valve because it has 3 leaf-like cusps or flaps which prevent the backflow of blood from the ventricle to auricle. So, something which is objecting for the backflow of blood. This valve is known as tricuspid valve, present in between the right atrioventricular septum. Then next, the another valve which is present in between the left auricle and ventricle is known as bicuspid valve or mitral valve. So, the two valves which are present in between the right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle, left ventricle are tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve. In addition to this, we also have another two valves known as semilunar valves, and I represent them here. You can see one semilunar valve in the pulmonary artery and one semilunar valve in the aorta. So, these semilunar valves based on the blood vessel, they are named as pulmonary semilunar valve and aortic semilunar valve. This is pulmonary semilunar valve. So, now we have understood about the valves which are present in the heart chambers. So, we have learned about atrioventricular valves. Two valves, one is in the right side, one is in the left side. The right atrioventricular valve is present in between the right auricle and ventricle, which is also known as tricuspid valve. Also, we understood this is a bicuspid valve or mitral valve which is present in between the left auricle and left ventricle. Then we also have seen today the two different valves which are also known as semilunar valves. Besides this, in atrioventricular valves, one is present at the opening of the pulmonary artery and the other one at the opening of the aorta, which arises from the left ventricle. Now, we will discuss about how the circulation of the blood happens in the next class. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video.